Good morning. We're talking markets with Jim Cramer on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Jim, we are finally seeing a sizable decline.
I mean, one of the things that I've learned, this is real time, is you got the whole day. Don't feel like, oh, it's down 292, you got to make a move. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of people who are trying to assess, geez, I've made a lot of money here. The market's up still 6% for the year so far. That's a big move. Now you could say, well, listen, I see HCA, great quarter, and that stock's flying, or I see Disney, not a lot of profits, and that's going up, and those are outliers. And so what I always like to do on a day like today is sit back, look at what I'm up the most on, trim those, and we can talk about that in our Action Alert show, and just kind of watch, because you got a long day. Maybe around when Europe closes, maybe get a little bounce. If you want to do some trimming then, that's fine. Why do I not want to be in big in this decline? Because it's just the first day, really. You take a stock like Home Depot. I really like Home Depot, and at one point it was down 5. So now it bounces being down 3. I want it down 5. I think that I have every right to try to get my price. And so what I'm telling you right now is get your price. And if you don't get your price, that's fine. Maybe your price will come about tomorrow. But there is never a reason to just go jump in after we've had such a big run. Watch, wait, do some trimming of things if you're up a lot, which is what we're doing, but give it some time. And look, maybe you miss it. Maybe it turns out that this was the bottom right here, right now. I don't know. It tends not to be. We have some great stocks. McDonald's, they reported a great quarter. Some people saying the same store for domestic was bad. Give me a break. That's people saying, okay, I'm going to justify why it's down. Pfizer, same thing. Well, maybe there's a line item why it's down. No, we're having a down day. And what I like to say on a down day is take your time, unless we're down a lot already. Now, I have a big show tomorrow with Mark Chaikin. It's a teach-in. Chaikin Money Flow, CMF. I think it's going to be fun. It's 11:30. You've got the details.
Yes. Webinar.TheStreet.com.
Yes, webinar.TheStreet.com. It's very interesting because last night, we talked about the healthcare stocks, and if they would come down, he wanted to buy them. I've checked in with Mark. He says, listen, it's better to be lucky than good. His stocks are all down. That may be a place to go. We're going to talk about them again tomorrow. But I'm just saying, I am not looking for reasons to put money to work yet. I am watching and waiting and hoping that in this little bounce, get some prices that might be good on the exit, because we're really pretty high, and then be ready on a real pullback.
I'm glad you mentioned healthcare. Big healthcare news this morning. Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and JPMorgan teaming up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this kind of like the TVA. I mean, these guys get together. JPMorgan spends more than $1 billion in healthcare. This could be a potential buying group. What would happen if Prime just decided, okay, listen, we're mad as hell, we're not going to take it anymore. I think we all recognize that healthcare goes up every single year. And you've got business people like Jamie Dimon, Warren Buffett, and you say, and Jeff Bezos, and they don't like costs that go up every single year. Jeff Bezos has done his best to bring costs down for the average person. JPMorgan doesn't raise the price of your checking account every single year. Warren Buffett has been anti the rise in healthcare forever and wants to know why the government hasn't gotten in control. So you have 3 people who basically could form a TVA of how much it is. Now, we were speaking to Brent Saunders. We own Allergan for Action Alerts. We can talk about that, but Brent believes this is good. He thinks there's friction in the system. Now, where is the friction? Is it Cardinal, which is a buying group, buys and then tries to get the price, down for you? Or if you're the buying group, can't you go to Pfizer and say, listen, I see what you are getting charged by the VA, what you're charging the VA, and we want the same prices as the Veterans Administration. So we don't know enough. We don't know who the CEO is going to be. We don't know how much they're going to fund. We do know that these are 3 people that in many ways, if they want to take control of pricing for a lot of people, they're themselves or Prime, well, they've got the vehicles to do it. And I think that all these stocks are down. My advice is go back and look at it. And when Amazon bought Whole Foods, initially there was a decline, then they stabilized, then they went down again. Don't forget, Amazon reports Thursday. What if they come out and say, you know what, we're going to use Prime? I think a lot of people are going to be worried that they're going to use Prime, and maybe you're got a chance to buy Amazon into the quarter, which would be sensational. But I just am cautioning that it's your first buy may not be your last buy. So if you believe that Cardinal is not really going to be disturbed by it, and we talked about Cardinal last night on Mad Money with Chaikin, again, the teaching tomorrow, then you can buy some Cardinal. I think, but if you buy all of your Cardinal, I think it's a mistake.
Still, though, this is Amazon's biggest move into healthcare yet, arguably.
I think what is the other move?
I guess when they were trying to do the pharmacy situation, but that hasn't played out.
This is really kind of it.
Yeah.
And what I would say is that if you look at the CVS piece this morning by Needham, they were saying, listen, it turns out that they really didn't move in. Because they didn't really move in, they were saying buy the CVS Aetna. And that is either a poorly timed piece because it came out last night, or you can say, listen, I'm going to buy CVS right now because it discounts the idea that Amazon's going to move in. Should you buy CVS right now? I'm kind of intrigued by CVS. I think it's a great company. It hasn't moved up. But at the same time, again, using the Whole Foods analysis, which we did on Mad Money, you saw stocks like Kroger drop. And then there was a moment Kroger was overdone. Kroger itself didn't have a good quarter. And then Kroger had a good quarter, and you had a fantastic run in Kroger. But you got to be patient. One of the things I've learned is that no one's patient enough into a decline. No one is patient enough. Everybody feels like, you know what? This is my chance. It's finally coming in. If you really feel that way, and you want to buy 300 shares of something, go buy 100. I'm just urging you to recognize the fallibility of yourself, the fallibility of everybody. It may not be the time to say we're done going down. The president speaks tonight, the State of the Union. It's going to be very bullish, okay? But how about if people decide, you know what, I've had enough of the president. 50% of people hate the guy. And they use the strength that maybe you get tomorrow off the State of the Union to do some selling. So all I'm saying is patience, patience, patience. There is no reason to decide this is the bottom, because my experience is it's far more likely to think this is the top. That's why I want you to follow what we said for Action Alert. Because if you divide by 10, the market's down 32 points. Think of it like that. It's 2,600 down 32. I'm trying to find analogies to make you feel, you know what? Maybe it's early. Jim's counseling patience. Maybe, but he's also saying you can buy some. But your first buy may not be your last buy. So think about it. If you cannot handle having another buy, then you got to wait. If you can handle buying some and then waiting, that's fine. If you look at your portfolio and there's stocks that are up really huge, it's not too late. No one, remember, we know that people can't catch tops. We always, catch top, you're very lucky. It's hard to catch a bottom too. But for instance, for Action Alert, we're taking some profits. Why? Because the stocks are barely down. The stocks hit a high yesterday. So patience is the word. And you're not going to get hurt with patience. No one gets hurt with patience unless we were down dramatically after we've been oversold. And then I would say, okay, you got to come in and buy.
Patience is a good segue to discussing Apple this morning, which was lower. And of course, they report earnings on Thursday.
Right. Now, Apple, we've been pretty adamant that it's just okay going in to the quarter. Why? Because we know that the 10 is bad, not selling well. We know the 8 isn't selling well. Let me just give you a little bit of the analysis here. The stocks come down 10%. That's positive. But what the analysts were talking about was the super cycle, that this was going to be the be-all and end-all. And I'm going to talk more in Action Alerts about it. But I'm just going to say right now, right here, that the setup is not great. If it were down a little more, the setup would be great. Join Action Alerts, club member. I have to hold it back for club members because it's not fair to give it away for free. I'll have an extended analysis about Apple on the ActionAlertsPlus.com TV show that we're going to do in a moment.
Yes. Check out ActionAlertsPlus.com for that. Meanwhile, Jim, before we go on the live show, what do you have coming up on Mad Money tonight?
Well, we have Trex, which I really love. Why? Because Trex is just this ultimate outdoor. Those of us who have I have a wooden deck next to my pool, and it's like, oh my God, I wish I had Trex because I constantly have to, put the Thompson water seal down on it, put the varnish in. It's a real pain in the butt. Valley Nat. Now, Valley Nat was this kind of old fogey Jersey bank that has become aggressive, but I don't think dangerous, by having a big acquisition in Florida. I think that's going to be a very, very interesting one. And then Nucor. How great is it to have the largest steel company on the night when the president will be talking about infrastructure. Newport is a huge beneficiary. Let me also mention some stocks that are down. Scotts Miracle-Gro, very tough. They've got this Hawthorne division. A lot of people are playing it. Remember, we're always looking for pot plays because pot is hot. But because of the president and Jeff Sessions, we don't know. It looks like there's some problems with Hawthorne. Don't be the first to be in. I think there'll be people who say, well, wait a second. We don't know if we're at the bottom there. I think that's an important call. HCA shows you the power of earnings. If you really have a blowout, they can even trump this moment. But I do want to point out again, if you want to buy some, buy a little. And I'm not against that. We're selling a little for Action Alerts. Stay tuned for the show.
All right, Jim and I are going to continue the conversation, actionalertsplus.com.